This one is very interesting because it's it's very known that there are certain types of body language that you should never use, especially in the world of sales. When it comes to uh, being present at a sales call, there are certain things that you should not do, in certain gestures, with your body movements, or things like what this guy is explaining here, or the way that I'm speaking. You know, as you can tell, I am saying things like quite often. I am saying quite often. I'm repeating myself. I'm not being very, I'm not being extremely concise 100% of the time, or speaking very fast all the time and just fluid, like if it was like this known script that I know. You know, I am talking here. I'm talking to my phone, guys. I say guys, but I'm talking to my phone. Like, for all I know, nobody but me will ever listen to this. But that's not the point of the video. I'm going on a tangent here. The point of the video is that this whole body language bullshit is what I just said, guys. It's bullshit. Okay? Do not do anything with your body that is disrespectful. You don't want to be doing any type of sexual moves with your body, for example, during a sales call. But, what he's doing with his hands right now, no issue with that at all. This is a big one, crossing your arms. Everyone is like, oh, if you cross your arms, that means that you're being defensive and stuff like that. Certain people are comfortable with their arms closed, just like certain people sit down and they're more comfortable with their legs closed. I'm not a leg crosser. Could never do it. It doesn't feel comfortable for me, so I do not. But there's plenty of people that they cross their legs when they sit down, and they feel way more comfortable that way. Same thing with your arms. Certain people, they're actually paying more attention to what you're saying by crossing their arms because they feel more comfortable that way. So just because they're crossing their arms, it doesn't mean they're being defensive. It doesn't mean that their mind is somewhere else. It doesn't mean shit. It means that they wanted to cross their arms. There's another one. Don't put your hands behind your back. It's gonna seem like the customer subliminally will think that you're not trustworthy. Like, all of this stuff is just bullshit, guys. We can go on and on, but all of this stuff is bullshit. Bullshit. Listen to me when I tell you that you can do all of that stuff, and if you make the customer laugh, if you make them have a good time while you're there, and you do your job explaining how things are going to be done, and they trust you, they like you, correct, you make them laugh a couple of times, and then you put a price on the table that fits their budget, you're gonna make a sale. You're gonna make a sale. That's it. This whole overthinking, like, oh, don't do this with your body, don't say this, don't say that, it's all bullshit, guys. It's all a bunch of bullshit for people to sell you courses on how to be. That's all it is, dude. That's all it is. It's just another sales tactic so that they can sell you courses on how to be. Be yourself, be respectful, make the customer feel comfortable, make them laugh if you can. If you can make a customer laugh, dude, that's half the battle. Make them feel comfortable in their own home. Make them trust you. By being real, just set expectations and explain the process properly, and give them a reasonable number, and you'll make the sale. Those are the only things that, in my honest opinion, work these days. Like, anything beyond that is just bullshit. Anything beyond that, any tricks, any, I don't know, any special training, I don't know. I just feel like, of course there's a nugget. There are nuggets everywhere. And you're responsible for identifying those nuggets of information that are, golden nuggets, and that you can implement in your day-to-day life to help you not only in your professional life, but in your, personal life. Um, but guys, at the end of the day, I promise you, take it from me, I have nothing to gain from this shit. Okay? I am telling the truth. In this world in 2026, with how educated customers are and how much they know, as I was saying, at this point, at this point, it's as simple as that. If you're starting sales, or if you're not, and you find yourself like, man, why am I not selling? I'm trying all of this, and I purchased this course, and I bought this one, and I'm watching all these YouTube videos, and and I'm doing this and reading that, and nothing is working. And it's probably because you're sounding like a salesman, and that's just what it is, guys. Like, there's not much more to say. Be yourself. Don't sound like a salesman or salesperson. Um, be cool. Be trustworthy. Be real. Give a competitive quote. You'll get the deal. If not, you're not gonna get it. Doesn't matter what you say, what magic tricks you use, what body language you use. If you cannot hit those three targets, you are not going to get a deal. Simple as that. The most important one, and this is, look, I'm going to speak about blasphemy here. This in the world of sales is like blasphemy, but people, salespeople, and especially sales trainers, they like to think that they live in a movie. Okay, they like to think that they live in like the Wolf of Wall Street or something like that. But this is reality, guys. Price is the most important thing to a customer by a landslide. By a landslide. Okay? So, if they like you and they trust you, and your price is way, way off compared to their budget or compared to other proposals, they're not going to go with you. Simple as that. I'll tell you this. I've had deals in which my proposal was $62K and everybody else came at 50, and I got them to come up to 59, and I got a deal. Okay? That's realistic. Now, I have other deals that maybe I was at 25K, and they're like, dude, I had another two quotes from reputable companies, and they both came out, 16K. And I could get them to come up to 20, but no more. That's still something. That still says that, dude, like, we like you, we trust you, we really want to go with you, dude, but we're not, we can pay an extra $3-4 grand because we believe that you're going to provide us the best value, and we like you, but we're not gonna pay an extra $9,000. The moment that you start accepting things like this will be the moment in which you will become more successful at your job. Just be real, man. Think of what would you do, man. What would you do if you were the customer? Always think of that. Think of the fact you have been a customer much longer than you have been a sales representative. So just treat them with the respect that they deserve. Be real with them and be competitive, and you'll get a deal. Everything else is noise.